So
This conference will now be recorded.
start from the teams, and team is basically this kind of sub part of project where we manage our work items, dashboard, and blah blah things. So that day, I showed you about work items. How do we create work items? What basically work items and all. So quickly review it again. So work item is basically the template or form which helps you to manage uh, the work which you are doing in your project. So basically, if it is a new requirement, you create a epic, or if it is a new feature being created, you are creating a feature, or it's a product backlog items to user stories, you create the PPI, and if you have some small task which you'll be doing as part of sprint, we create the task. So these are the default templates comes from Microsoft. We can customize these templates, or we can uh, create new templates as well if we have some new requirements, like if the team these things are not getting fitted or they need some extra requirements, with these customization can be done. So we'll take example of PBI again, and the
Hello.
template will have, yeah, hello, okay. So the template has few fields which needs to be filled for getting the requirements done. That's what we have seen that day. We create new PBI, give any title, PBI 16 July, and assign to Anurag. And this was the team which we have created that day. So this is our team. We are on a sprint 2, which is going from 12 July to 2nd of August, and save it. So that's what. So now we'll see what is this. So we have spoke that day. We have checked about work items and sprint. I'll again review all these things again because you might be a little bit confused. Like, what is that? So we start from overview. If you see overview, we have option called dashboard. So dashboard is like a main home page of our project, which shows what work is going on, like how much progress, how many team members I have, what are they working, and all everything we can display over here on the dashboard, and we can see like what is happening inside my project, and multiple dashboard can be created. So if you talk about pull web is our team. If you open the dashboard of that, you'll see there is nothing as of now. So what we have to do, we have to add something which we want to see. So generally what teams add, they add the widgets, which basically shows them I'll show you what is that. So you click on this. The Microsoft has given few widgets over there, which shows what things and all going on. So I'll take one of the widgets, sprint burnout, review team members. I'll add team members. I'll add the sprint overview. What else you can take for now? Okay, and close this. Done everything. So that way we can add multiple widgets, and we can see what is happening inside the project. So a dashboard basically a home page which helps others or the project managers or the team members to see what is happening inside the project. So for now we have added 3 widgets. We can add multiple widgets if we want, and we can add multiple dashboard also. For now, for full web we have only dashboard which is full web overview. If we want, we can create new dashboard. So you still remember team area iteration, or you forgot? Anirudh or Dharni? You remember,
You
or
mean,
shall I again? The area
yeah,
iteration.
Sorry, Anurag. I think I got cut off.
So till where you were with me?
You Just open that Teams. What do we add? How do we do that? Just going through what we discussed last week, last class.
You didn't see the dashboard?
No, no.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So I'll again go through. So overview, we have two things. One is summary, which basically tells about the summary of the project. It's nothing. It's a home page. You can just edit the status if you want to display for the users, like for what this project is. So for now, it's generated by. If you want to change this, you can change it and save. So the summary page is just about the summary, which shows like summary of the things which are in our project, like how many work items are there in this project. So 169 work items are in this project. 24 like 24 work items have been completed, like those states have been moved to done, pull request and blah blah. This you won't understand for now, but and how many members are there in this project. So only one member for now. Let me add Dharni so we can do some further things. Dharni, what was your email ID?
Dharani.svec@gmail.
So remember,
SVEC.
this is my another organization. I added you to some other one, but this is other.
SVEC. Yeah. Good.
Okay. Now I can assign few items to him also. So 2 members, and so that's about the summary. Now we go to the dashboard. So in dashboard, I was explaining. Dashboard basically, if you open a new one, you won't see anything. I'm removing it again. So the dashboard looks like this when it is a new dashboard. And to see like the whole picture of the project, like what is happening in my project, and according to your need, you can customize this. So for customization, Microsoft gives the widget, like widgets you can add, so you can see what is happening. So you want to see how many pipelines are running, how many work items created, who is working on what work item, how many work items have been done, how many in pending. So for everything, you can add a widget, and those those can be seen over there. So we will add a few of the work items for now, or widgets for now, like sprint overview, and burn down, team members. We can add team members. So these are the few work items which are there. If you add there, you can see like what is happening. Burn down basically shows like on this date how many items were open, how many were pending, and if any items been moved to the done. All these things can be seen. So the dashboard is basically for showing you the overall picture. Now in boards, we have again telling you what we have discussed on the last training. Uh, work items. We can create new work items over here. And so this is dashboard, and under boards we have work item, and then again board. So this board basically is particularly for a specific team. It depends on the team. So if we have multiple teams, we will be having different boards, which basically shows us all the items which we have, all the work items which we have in our team. So full web is a team which basically having area and iteration path, like full web area and iterations are this is the area and this is the iteration for we have for full web. So whatever the item we will create and assign this area and iteration, those will be comes under full web. So if I create any new item, any new item. And assign him the area full web. It will be gone under our full web board. This one came here because the new state assigned to no one. I can assign it to myself. And you will see this. So this is for full web. If you want to see for another team, we can choose any of the team, full DB. And there's nothing in full DB that we already checked that day. So for now, the data we have in full web only. So board is basically a graphical picture of all the items which belongs to our team, and we can drag and drop from one state to another. So state means when new item created, it comes into the new state. When it is approved by someone, it will be moved to the approved state, and then once developers start working, it is committed and then done. So either you change the status from here, or just simply drag and drop, the state will be changed automatically like this. So boards will consist all the items.
So what do we mean by new item? Like, we what do you say? Are we defining some kind of a workload, like testing, or
Correct.
Oh, got it.
Work item, if you see this one, that's what I was telling. So work item is basically a temp. So when you are working in any of the software project, you need a tool, or you need something which tells you like what you have to do. Your team cannot give you in Word, right? They cannot share you in the Word document like, okay, Anirudh, you have to do this. They give you a Word document, and you update the Word document next day like, I have done this. So it's very difficult to manage like what you have done, what are pending things. You are working on, if your team has 100 members, you cannot manage this thing, right? So for managing this, this called Azure DevOps project management, which is Azure DevOps board. So for this feature only, like managing the team, or we call it a Scrum also. So managing the Scrum, managing the sprint. There are a lot of tools. If you heard about Atlassian Jira tool is also there, which is just for boards, nothing else. Like this,
So
there are
yeah,
few.
Anurag. Yeah, Anurag, adding to that. So Anurag, I think Anurag's question is, so Anurag, is it just a task or work assigning to the people?
Correct.
Work assignment.
Yes. So not only
There
work
is a new
assignment,
development.
everything like.
Yeah.
So if any requirement is coming from the customer, where do you mention that? So we create a work item for that. Maybe the work item type could be different. It could be a task, it could be a PBI, it could be a epic or feature, but it has to be recorded under the work item. So if something coming from customer, my business analyst will discuss with customer. He will discuss and he will put it into one of the work item, which is basically, if we are discussing with user or customer, it will be going under product backlog item. And if internally we are discussing, okay, we will be creating this feature for this item, so we will be creating a feature and we'll mention all these things like, okay, these are things needs to be done, and how do we do and who will do, everything will be mentioned in the feature. If you find any bug in your software and you need to fix it, first you have to mention somewhere like, what is this bug only, what are the steps to reproduce it. So all these things we will mention in the bug work item. So like, what are the approach steps, what are the system info, when this will be accepted, all these things you mention in different fields. So like whatever we do, it has to be recorded, and for recording purpose we have this board system. Okay.
It is easy
So
to follow and keep an eye on what is happening where, and
correct.
Yeah.
Yes, what is happening. And also for project manager, it will be very easy. From here you can see what thing is assigned to whom, and what is the status, if it is already in process or it is done, or it is in design phase. So you can simply see this. Okay. So this board shows you for each individual team. So we are talking about full web, so we see the items belongs to full web. And the backlog is also the same thing, it will show, but not in the graphical format. It will show you in the priority, or like order, priority ordering. like which one has to be picked up first and all, so you can manage this here. The same items are there in backlog board and same items are in boards, but in boards it shows in column wise, and here it shows you in like which item should go first, so you can reorder it. So project manager and they decide, okay, this needs to be done first, so they just move it here and there. Sprint is basically uh, it's like a small chunk of the time of the whole project. So that I was telling on that day, like if we have a project for 1 year, we divide it into small time frame, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks and all, and based on that we create the sprints. And each sprint we assign some work items, and those work items the developer team has to work on. So how this sprint coming in over here, that we had set up that day, I'll show you again. So in project setting, we have the team configuration. And this is configuration for full web. We can do for other teams also. So full web, this is general, that's fine. Iteration defines the sprint. So whatever the work items coming with the parts unlimited iteration, that will goes to full web. And we can define the sprints over here. Like my first sprint will start on 20th June and goes till 11th July. Second one will start on 12th July and goes till 2nd August. Like this, we can assign the sprints, and the sprint will be linked to my full web team. So same thing is coming over here. If you see, go to the boards again, sprints. Full web sprints. And we can see our all sprints because the date of this sprint to matches today's date, because it is going till 2nd of August, shows current. And whatever, so how these items are coming inside this.
I think we define sprint as, these items has to be processed or these items have to be worked upon. Is that right?
Correct. So sprint is basically, because 1 year project, it's not like we can start anything at any time. There
Yeah.
should be some defined process. Okay, these 15 days or these 1 month, we will be working on these items only. So we picked up, so in board, I'll show you again.
So also one more question, like, there is a client requirement all of a sudden and we already have a defined sprint. Can we add items to sprint?
Yes, that depends on the product owner. So in a
Okay.
Scrum team, basically there are 4 roles. One is product owner, who decide what needs to be done. Project manager, who will take care of like is it happening or not, and then the development team, who will actually work. So the product owner basically, so if you take the Scrum training, where they tell everything like how this Scrum process, this project management works. So there are 3 different main roles. One is product owner, who decide what needs to be done and when needs to be done. Project manager responsibility is to make sure like it is getting done, and developer team has to work on this. So product owner is saying you have to do this, and it's fine for us. We have to do that. If we are a developer or something else, like not project manager, we have to do this. Okay. Now you see, board will show us all the items which are defined for whole year, like backlog or board. All will show us the items which has to be done in the whole complete year. Like, so suppose we have these 4 items. New test, new PBI 12th July. This all has to be done in the 1 year. But if we go to sprint, and in sprint backlog, if we see and we categorize it to the sprint 2, we will only see items which are assigned to the sprint 2, not the whole board. So how do we segregate this? If you open any of the item here, and you see this area tells us like this item belongs to full web team, and this iteration tells us which sprint this item has to be done. So in board we will see whatever the items are assigned to this, but in sprint we will see items assigned to this plus which sprint it is going. So this new PBI, I'll give your name to make it clear, Anirudh. And it has the sprint one iteration, so it will be displayed under sprint. So you can see this item on board, and you can see this item also on board, which is develop tire size. So this belongs to sprint 2, this belongs to sprint 1. On board you are able to see both, but when you go to sprints, so you in the sprint 2 you don't see Anirudh 1, but that will, if you select filter on sprint 1, you will see this one because this belongs to sprint 1. So that's how we can manage the items from one sprint to another, which one has to be done where. So sometime it happens like you assign this item on sprint 1, and even after sprint 1 date goes off, this doesn't complete it. So it's not like we can leave it back, we have to do this. So project manager will move it back to sprint 2, and then this item will move back to the sprint 2. So sprint 1, this will be gone if we refresh it.
One more question, like, so the sprint date is not extended, but that item is actually pulled from that sprint to the next sprint, right?
Correct, correct. Date won't be extended, but items, because item like anyhow you have to deliver.
Yeah. Okay.
Something wrong. Okay, because of these things. It is not good. Okay, it came. So it was some cache problem. That's why it was showing that. Yeah, these sub, because the child items belongs to the sprint 2. That's why this problem is coming in. We move everything to sprint 2. And this will be on the sprint 2. So the new PBI and it will also move to the unload. And if we move back it further to sprint 3 and all, we can change it like this. And what date and all we need to define, like, okay, sprint 1 is when to when, that all needs to be done under this team configuration. So in team configuration, we have this iteration where we define like how many sprints are there in my project. So these are the 5 sprints I have defined in my project, and it will be going from here to there. If we want to add, we can add more sprints, we can create more iteration paths, and it will be going on. So that is called board, backlog, and sprint. So items are same but filtered way and different UI. That's how it will be managed. Now the things come is queries. Sometimes the requirement is basically is not like just to see what system is showing. You want to see something according to your requirement, like, so you can create your query, and whatever the items are there, those will be filtered out. So you can create the query like if you want to see all the PBIs and those are in any state, so that means we are not specifying any more filter, we just want to see product backlog item in my project. So if I run this query, it will display whatever the PBIs we have created. So the new PBI, new development tire, this PBI 60 July, all the PBIs have been filtered out. So sometimes the requirement is basically depends on this also, and we can create the query. If you want to add more clause, like, okay, you want to see only the PBI which are uh, in progress state. So we change it, run the query again, and there's no item such that. So there's no item which is PBI or in progress. If you change it to done, we want to see only PBI which are done. So there are 3 work items which are done with the PBI, like this it is. So queries is basically, and then it's not like one time you are running, you can save your query for future results. So save query with like PBIs, something like this. Save it under my query, or you can, so if you save it under my query, only you can see. If you share it under shared queries, all your team members can see this query. So if I'm sharing it under shared queries, it will be displayed for my all the team members. So like this is not only one clause, there are 100 clauses inside this for filtering different data. So like say if you want to filter only all the PBIs state you don't want to filter, like assign to then equals to, you can search for the username, like whatever is assigned to Anurag then should be coming in. Yeah. So now this is single level, but we have linked many items from PBI to child items, so we can query based on, this is flat list. We can uh, query based on the links also like this. So work item PBI and which is linked, so it will be displaying the sub items also like this. So what I have given is work item type is product backlog item assigned to Anurag Chen, and also return the items which are linked to this. So it is returning us the tasks which are linked to this. So this way there are multiple queries you can create, and you can save it for your use. So now this is one way of getting results. One another use of this query is basically I just saved it. If you go back to the dashboard, we were adding few widgets, right? We can add one widget also. So I'll add one more widget for the query result. And then in this query result, okay, done. This query result we have to configure. We will mention our query. So it will show us the result of our query in the dashboard itself. So select the query which is under shared Anurag PBIs, and it will be displaying the results over here. So you can see these things on board itself. We don't need to go here and there. So just a sample query, but there are like more complex requirements comes in for this, and queries can be like too much lengthy also. It's not like queries can be like small and all. Very big queries can also be there. Okay, yeah. So that comes under query. So I'll give you some tasks where you have to create a query and give me the required result. I'll send you the task, and whenever you get time, you do this.
So Anurag, I have one question in boards. I am not sure I follow backlog.
What is that?
Boards.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Backlog.
So you are not getting what is backlog, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So
So
is it
I
like
explain.
backlog is all the work items which we have?
Yeah, kind of, but not true. So this is parts unlimited and this is fullware. So backlogs consist all the items which belongs to my team. Doesn't matter which is sprint, which blah blah, but whatever the work items belongs to my team will be displayed under backlogs.
Okay.
And in boards also we see the same item. In boards also we can see the same item, but it is in different view. Like it is in column view, where it
Okay.
shows us like which item is in which state. While in backlog it shows us the priority or order. So why this item is on first one? Because you're creating items. Why this one is coming on top? Because its priority is decided as one. If you want this one to be moved on the first priority, you just drag and drop, and this one become the first priority now. So this backlog is basically to define which item has to be picked up when, what priority it has, like this.
Okay.
Okay. So
So I think
now I'll.
backlog is just
Mhm,
a repository,
mhm.
like how the way or the order the work should be done.
Correct, correct. It defines the order of the work should be done. Correct.
Oh,
Yeah. Now each thing has its own setting. Like these are the default settings which we are seeing. So work item, this is fine. This shows all the work items in the project without anything. This is of no use. But boards, backlogs, and sprint all has their own settings, which you can like. I'll show you what settings and all these are. So if you click on this setting button over here, you can change the view you want to see. So in this, we are seeing two items, product backlog items and the bug. So for product backlog items, what all things you want to see? So if you see for now, we see the project, the ID of that. We see this like whom is assigned to, efforts, tags, all these things we see. You see here. So it shows like ID, it shows the title, it shows us whom it assigned to, because all these things we have enabled from this settings. If you remove something like show ID, it won't display as the ID of the work item. So this number will be gone like this. So for bug also, uh, yeah. So this ID has gone. So this is one of the settings. Same we can do for bug. Styles is fine. Tag color, basically you can see like if there are any particular tag for any item, what color it should be. That is of also no use. I'll show you most important thing, which is columns. So you see, we are able to see 4 different columns: new, approved, committed, done. If you want to add more columns, then what can be done? So when you are moving one item from new to approved, what is happening behind the scene is basically it is changing the state from new to approved. So earlier the item state was changed, it is changed to approved. And how it is happening? It is happening because the setting is over there. So columns, if item is in new, it state has to be new. That cannot be changed. But if it item is getting up moving to approved, what state it should move to? So we have defined if item is getting moved to approved, the state also moved to approved. So that way committed, the state also moved to committed. If you want to add more columns, you can add like insert, right? You give the column name like ready for done, something like that is according to Scrum Master. But and when the item is moving to this column, what state should go? You can't have this state because the states are predefined. You have to select from this. Like it should be either approved or committed or new. So I see the committed. So whenever any item will be moved to ready for QA, so you'll see one more column is added. And if I'm adding, moving this item test to ready for QA, then what it should be changed? Anyone?
Anurag, can you repeat that question for last?
Yeah. So
The
yeah.
state is ready for done, right?
So if you see the column and ready for QA is mapped with one of the state, what state it is?
Committed, right? Yeah.
Committed, yeah. So whenever we will be moving any item to ready for QA, its state will also be changed to committed.
Committed.
So if I'm moving it from new to ready for QA, we will see its state will also be changed. Open this, the state is committed. So that how we can create more columns. We have to map it with different state. If I'll move this also, it will also go to committed. If I move it back to committed, sorry.
I have a question here. So in
Yes,
test,
yes.
if we go, can we click on test?
Test this one.
No, no. On the column approve, the work item. Yeah.
Okay, okay, yeah.
So if we move here from state, if we
Yeah.
move to committed, does it go to ready for done or committed?
It will be going to the committed by default.
Okay.
So I'll show you how it is. So I'll just move it to committed, and it has gone to this. So it will. Okay, I'll show again one more thing. Wait. Columns. We'll add one more column next to this. Okay. Next to this, insert right, like Anirudh testing, and we'll give this committed again. Okay. Fine. Now we have three columns with same thing. I'll move one item to new first. It is new and approved. Now if we change status to committed, where it will go?
Immediate. Is it immediate next one?
So committed, and it is going to this. So it will pick up the immediate column
Okay.
because it doesn't know what is that. It knows only the status. So whatever the next column it is getting, it will move there.
So when we are moving one work item to particular, what do you say, sprint? So what do we call this columns?
These are the columns only. Like when we are managing any board, we can have dependency. So what happens sometime in any software development phase, there are multiple phases basically. So by default, the system is giving only new, approved, committed, and done. But
Yeah.
actual scenario, sometimes it is the phase like, okay, work item is like new feature, which is in the designing phase. Might be it is getting ready a design, like the designers are designing the design, or maybe it under testing, like QA team is testing this. So for everything, we do not have the states over here, right? But we want to see the exact status. Committed, if it is in committed, we are not sure what is this committed. Either the development is just started, or it is like almost completed, or it is already gone to the testing phase. So for display matter, we add more columns because status wise we everything is committed because it's not done yet. But actual scenario, it is somewhere difference because maybe it is just started or just gone for the like ready for done or ready for testing. So on that scenario, we add more columns. So any team admin who has team rights, he can add more columns and map to any of the feasible state, so they can see the actual status, not only just with the so sometimes the team are fine with just whatever comes default, only approved, committed, done, they're okay. But sometimes like requirements, they want to have more segregation for better view, so they add more columns. So we call it columns only. So that is
Okay.
column inside the backlog. Yeah. So same way, there is one more thing called
Sorry. So committed means it is committed to that particular column or that workload. Is it in
Yes,
testing or in design? Is it in manufacture or is it ready to done? So that's what
correct,
it
correct,
means.
correct. Committed means it is happening, they're doing.
Got it.
Yeah. So now this is column. There's one more segregation in the this mostly team doesn't use, but I'll tell you what is this. This is swim lane. So what happened? Uh, let's say now we have this columns like item is in new or approved, or I'll remove this extra. So better view, I'll remove this column. Save. Okay, we are getting this because we
All
have
our work
item in
items.
this column.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to delete something which like item is already there. So I need to remove this item from there. Right. Now I can delete. Fine. So one thing is you have item in new, you have item in approved, committed, done. But sometime in new or approved also, there may be requirement from the team who say, okay, this is the new item, fine, this is going inside new. But what item it is? Whether this item is basically for like some urgent requirement or some requirement from another team or something which can be done later, So how do you, because this is coming to board because your item, but if you want to further segregate, we can add some swim lanes. I'll show you, then you'll get better understanding. So if I'm going in swim lanes, I'm adding swim lane like urgent. I'll add one more, not urgent. Some development task, some support work. Like this, I have added this swim lane. So under each column, we will get these swim lanes. If you see, approved also add, development also add, not urgent also add. This is going to default. So when I'm moving any item from new to any of the status, that means I need to define where, because it will be going to approved for sure, but where in approved, whether it's a urgent work or it's not urgent or development task or support. So I can keep it somewhere here. So if I move it to this, that means when my developer is reading, he will see, okay, this is a new development requirement. Or if it is something else, then he will understand, okay, it's a support requirement. And so just give like better view how many items which belongs to like urgent priority, how many are just like not urgent, and how many are like support kind of requirement, how many are like development requirement. So for that further segregation, swim lanes are there, but mostly team doesn't use this. But there are few teams who do this. Otherwise, columns are enough for managing their things. Make sense?
Yes, yes. So, so let me understand. Like, so how does a DevOps engineer come into this picture?
So DevOps engineer will design all this. Azure DevOps, the tool which we are reading, right? The
Uh-huh.
tool managed by the Azure DevOps, the DevOps engineer, who has
Okay.
to tell the teams like project manager will come to you. He knows project
Uh-huh.
management. He say, okay, I need board for my team. Give me a board which blah blah things should be set up out there. He don't know what is Azure DevOps. So you should create a team for him. So I told you how do you create team. You should set up their area and iteration and give them
Uh-huh.
permission, and then they will start following this.
So
So we
basically,
will provide, yeah,
we would have access how to move from new to approved, or everybody will be
yeah,
having access.
yeah. No, no, not everybody, but because we are DevOps engineer, we are the administrator of this tool. We have all the permissions into this tool, but we will
Okay.
not be moving item there and there. We will give them this template. They only will create item. They will only move because they know about their application. We don't know what they're doing. Our job is basically create a team for them, setting
Mhm.
up the permissions, provide them the team, and create the one board for them. Like because they don't know this swim lane, give them training how do this columns work. Because we are the owner of this tool. We only know where to click. Initially they don't know where they to click.
Mhm.
So you tell them like this tool is like this. You can create new status. You can create new swim lanes, and once they're okay, they can continue working on this. And meanwhile, if they stuck somewhere, okay, I don't know why this item is displayed here, why it is not displayed here. Because but you are the admin of this tool. You should know everything.
Okay.
You should not need to know what is inside this, but you should know this. This has to be displayed here.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
And sometimes they come up with a requirement, okay, I want some query which give me this data. Then we don't know what is inside the data, but if they say, okay, I need a query which give all the product backlog items which are in new status and assigned to Anirudh, and which has blah blah task link, can you create a query? So we should know how do we create the query.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this belongs to board. So board has these 5 different things: work items, board, back. Okay, so we are talking about settings in that board. Now, after this column, swim lanes, there is no use. Status badge, you can see like what columns you want to see, so that we can manage from there also. And backlogs basically. So for now, we will only see the PBIs and features, but sometimes teams want to see epics also. So epic is basically requirement from the customer. They want to see epics on their board. If they don't, they want to see, they can keep this okay. Otherwise, if they don't want to see, they can just remove it from here. So if you want to see epic, we'll get two options over there: backlog, and we can see epics also, which belongs. So I think we did not create any epic. I'll create one epic. Epic. Boards. So this epics have come here, so we can filter out what all epics are there. So if we disable this epic from there, we don't see the epics because it's a like separate kind of work item. Generally, team don't monitor it on their day-to-day activities, so they don't want involvement. But if you want, you can do it. And during your sprint planning and all, we have to consider how many days teams are working. So by default, Monday to Friday is enabled. If you are working on Saturday, Sunday also, you can enable this. So your calculation will be done based on what date your team is working. So like that, we have the settings inside board. For same, we have the setting inside the backlogs, what all things you want to see. So in boards, we see the swim lanes and column. These are the main features of board, swim lanes and column, because board is giving us the UI based on the swim lanes and columns itself. In backlog, we don't have this column and all. So what all settings we have here is, again, you want to see epic or not, a feature backlog, and what are the working date and bugs. So do you want to see the bugs also or not? So this is also one setting here. So here there is no much settings and all because there's no filter, nothing. So it's very simple. Sprint, we have a lot of different settings. So first of all, this is same. Here we can define like what all things you want to see. Do you want to see work details? If you click this, it will show you how many hours of work has been assigned to the team, how many hours work is pending. So out of 48 hours is this. So how much is 48 hours is calculated basically. If you see this is sprint, this says 12 days are still pending in this. And so because it is ending on August 2 and we have set up Monday to Friday. So it knows 1 week only 5-day work is going on. So till August 2, there are 12 days remaining, including today. And in our team capacity, we have defined like Anurag Jain will work 4 hours in a day. So and only we have one user only. So the team capacity is 12 into 4, like 48 hours is pending. Anurag Jain capacity also 48 hours because I'm also working 12 days and this is like whatever the task assigned to me, I have filled remaining hours in that. So on the basis of it's calculating 19 hours work you have to do in 48 hours. If I increase my capacity per day, like okay, I'll be working 5 hours a day, we will see it has changed to 60 because 12 hours, 12 days is still going to. Yeah. And meanwhile, if I take any off, so my project manager can assign, okay, I'll be on leave on 20th of July. That is like 1 day leave. So 1 day 5 hours will be reduced from my total capacity. So 12 hours, 12 days are going, but I'll be working only on 1 day. If I take leave more than 1 day, let's say I'm taking leave for 2 days, it will become 50. So this way we can manage the team capacity under the sprint. So this work details we can see the planning also, like in this sprint, current sprint, how many tasks, how many epics are scheduled. In further sprint, what all things are assigned. So that's thing we can see from here. Or if we don't want to see anything, just click off. We don't see anything. And this task board shows, so here backlog we see only PPIs and bugs, but in task board we can see what are the tasks are created and belongs to this sprint. the PBIs will be on first status only, and task will be moving here and there. So task board is basically for board of tasks. So board is again a column things. So task board is again column things, but it is specifically for task. So this is how we manage the sprints. So these are the things which are in this board. You log into your dev.azure.portal, do your R&D, and let me know if you have any questions in that. So tomorrow we'll be doing the session, or how it is? Are you guys okay?
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm fine, Anurag.
So
We are
what
pretty
time we
much.
keep it? Morning? No?
The same time won't work.
Same time Saturday evening, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's okay for me. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Or uh-huh.
I work in
Sorry.
shift, so my work starts at 10:30, so morning won't be fine. So maybe
Okay.
4 o'clock is fine with me, or same.
So you can be post
This conference will now be recorded.
this parts unlimited. Yeah. Mhm.
Just click on this. Okay.
Yeah, this one and select template. And now with the
So
same name of the project.
sorry, yeah.
Here's the same parts unlimited. Organization, it will show you have to select organization where you want to create this. So you have only one organization. Create.
So one more question, Anurag. So what is the so do I need to know all about Scrum? Because I think I want to learn more about Scrum. So
No, so Azure DevOps has everything about project development. So this we started with Scrum. Now we will be going for repository and then pipeline. So you can be an expert in one particular area, or if you are a DevOps engineer, you should like know everything. So if you are CI/CD or pipeline expert also, then also like there are a lot of job opportunities. If you are a Scrum Master also, you have a lot of opportunities. But then you have to be expert in that. Being a DevOps engineer, I cannot manage a team of Scrum. I know how it works, but then I have to be a Scrum Master who knows how this will go, what is the capacity I have to define. Being DevOps engineer, I know this tool, how this tool will work, and how I suggest to Scrum manager. But then Scrum Master should know the detail about this, right?
oh,
Like so, if you want to go into that area, then there are Scrum Master certification is there from Microsoft that you can go through, you can done, and then you can implement those things using Azure DevOps.
okay. So one question here. So I need your help in understanding, right? So so at certain point of time, we can be obsolete, right? As DevOps, Azure DevOps engineer will no longer be needed because everybody knows what to do.
No, no, nothing like this.
Okay,
Keep on
okay.
requirements that keep on coming on. So you see the boom, right? I'm working as 12 years, same CI/CD and all,
Okay,
and I see like always in demand only.
okay. Because also I've seen there is requirement. So I've done a little bit of market research. I've seen that there is a lot of requirement for CI/CD and
Correct,
pipelines.
correct. Pipelines,
So
yeah.
that is what I
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
I've
Next
observed.
topic will be that. After boards, we will be talking about that.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So
So
would
your
you
project
suggest?
will be created. Sorry.
I wanted to know if you suggest something else, like along with this, if I have an idea or uh,
Yeah, I told the
understanding.
descripting, right? PowerShell, if you start learning, it will
Yeah.
be really helpful.
How about VMware workstation? How
No, no,
creating a
no.
server?
That is again like kind of infrastructure. But if you
Mhm.
are in CI/CD, then that is like quite different. If you're doing CI/CD, then you should go for PowerShell.
Okay, okay, great.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So once it is done, your project will be created, and you can see that inside your organization. Okay.
Okay, okay,
Yeah. So it will be done for sure. Then tomorrow I'll catch you up. Okay.
okay.
I think it's created. Yeah. You can refresh your organization. Yeah, it is there.
Yeah. So anything you would suggest for me to, apart from PowerShell, like, so because I'm not from an IT background, I'm not having a complete picture of, like, I'm asking too many questions, right? What is this
No,
column
no,
or
that's
yeah?
okay. Yeah.
Okay, great.
No, you go through this training for now, and if you feel
Uh-huh.
so like okay, one particular like you understood Scrum little bit now. So if
Mhm.
you feel in any of the area like okay, build by CI/CD, you say okay, this one I can go through. Then you can go inside deeper into that particular. So as this
Okay.
training as a DevOps, you basically get idea or understanding of each different life cycle phases.
Yeah.
So we
Okay.
started with this, and you in 20-25 days, you will at least know like which direction you have to go. For now, like you are in some like four-way where you have to go.
Okay.
So at least once you get this training, then you can further make your mind okay if it is my thing or I cannot do something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fine, Anirudh.
Yeah. Thanks, Anurag. Yeah.
So thanks. Yeah.